Now, if you completely stop eating for 1 whole week, how much weight could you potentially lose? In many of the videos, I talk about the most you can lose per week is about 2 pounds. But that was when you were eating through the week, okay? This video is about what happens if you just fast for 7 days. Now, anytime you start a diet program, especially if you're cutting carbs, you're going to lose fluid, and a lot of it because you're going to be getting rid of the stored glycogen, which is like a fluid-filled sponge with water. For every gram of glucose that's stored as glycogen in your liver and even the muscles, you are at the same time holding 3 grams of water for that 1 gram of glucose. And so when you start getting rid of the glycogen, you start getting rid of the water, you can very easily lose 13 pounds or 5.89 kilograms in 1 week. It could be 20 pounds. It could be less. It really depends on how much water you have and how much glycogen you have. Now, 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. An average person may burn roughly about 2,000 calories in a given day. Now, that can vary all over the place, but let's just use that figure for now. So in theory, if you're burning this and everything is working, you can lose 0.5 to 0.7 pounds per day, okay? Or 0.2 kilograms to 0.3 kilograms every single day. And that would come out to just under 5 pounds or 2.2 kilograms per week. If everything is working fine and your metabolism is pretty fast, etc. But there are a lot of variables. You have exercise, stress level, sleeping, your age, your metabolic rate, okay? I've had people fast for a week and lose 1 pound, okay? I've had other people fast for a week and lose double this, which is fairly rare. Some of it could have been fluid, but it's possible depending on these variables right here. Also, the history of how many carbohydrates you consumed in your life. If you have a history of consuming a lot of carbs, you have severe insulin resistance. So your body is going to fight that weight loss, and it's going to affect your set point and your metabolism. So you lose to a certain point and then you plateau. And also if you have any health issues, the thyroid, etc. So roughly you could potentially lose just under 5 pounds or 2.2 kilograms every single week if you fast. Now, the other concern people have is what about muscle loss? Okay, we've talked about water loss, glycogen loss, fat loss, but what about muscle loss? Do I have to be concerned or not? When you start fasting, you greatly stimulate growth hormone. Growth hormone is a protein-sparing hormone. It protects against the loss of protein. Normally, our bodies do not use our own protein as fuel. It goes after the fat fuel until that's all gone. Then it will go after your muscle, and that's called starvation. Versus fasting, you're just burning your fat. Now, let's say, for example, someone is a bodybuilder or they have a good amount of muscle in their body and they're exercising, okay? And then they start this week fast and they don't exercise. Potentially their muscles could shrink because it's the exercise that keeps the muscles stimulated and growing. Specifically, this variable right here, the intensity of that exercise. Now, when you're fasting, a very good indicator to know that you're doing it correctly is when you can exercise without feeling too weak and tired. If you can achieve that, that means you're doing it correctly. But let's say, for example, you're fasting and you're tired and you don't have the energy and you cannot keep this intensity. What that means is you need more electrolytes. The electrolytes, especially potassium and magnesium, support the interaction between the muscle and the nervous system. Okay, so that's really important. But you also have another 2 electrolytes, sodium and chloride, which is equally as important. And when you fast, you not only need to take potassium, magnesium, but you have to make sure you're taking enough sea salt, preferably Himalayan sea salt, 1 to 1.5 teaspoons a day. Okay, very, very important, regardless of whether you're eating or not. Now, if you're exercising and sweating, this could go up. I also recommend when you're taking your electrolytes in some liquid, you add maybe some green powder, because when you're fasting for any period of time and you're generating all these ketones, you can become slightly acidic. And the green drinks are really a good way to alkalize or neutralize that acidity, especially if you have a tendency to get gout or have higher levels of uric acid. Also, when you're fasting, it's important to take B vitamins. I recommend take the form in nutritional yeast. It's a natural form. And make sure you take trace minerals that include zinc and iodine, because zinc, for example, really only lasts 4 days in your body. So you could run out of zinc pretty easily if you're not eating, for 1 week. Now, the other point always comes up is that I need to load my muscles with carbs to spike insulin, because insulin helps muscles grow. It's an anabolic hormone. Well, that is true, but insulin comes with a package, comes with a lot of problems. Insulin is triggered by carbs, but guess what? It's also triggered by protein. So a better solution, if you're concerned about that, is to, instead of having more carbs or carbs at all, do more protein. Because if you're doing large amounts of protein, part of that is going to turn into glucose and it's going to raise insulin. And that can be good or bad depending on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to lose weight, that's not good because we're trying to keep insulin down. But if you're trying to build muscle, it may be a better solution if we were to compare them. Because when that extra protein that you eat turns into glucose and raises some insulin, it also at the same time raises another hormone called glucagon, which also helps you mobilize stored fat. So it'll help you burn fat at the same time. When you consume just carbs, you do not get the spike of glucagon. This goes down right here. Just a little tip for those people that are bodybuilders or working out and they want to maintain a bit more muscle. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.